Cepee.
Hey, woman. Hey, Shauna.
Oh
Good
my God.
morning to you.
Look at your beautiful view.
Right? Oh my God. And it's a beautiful day here in Malaga. So I'm so glad I get to do this outside.
Girl, I love the weather right now. Oh my, is it that warm?
It's that warm. It's like 70, 76, I think. And there's a nice breeze and no clouds in the sky. So it's perfect.
You look like a wonderful Spanish lady.
Thank you.
Do you really feel like like me? I kind of feel half Española. Do you as well
See,
now?
of course. Yeah. Especially now that I have citizenship. So I have to own it, right?
Oh my gosh, so how long did it take you to get the citizenship?
It didn't take too long, just maybe like a year and a half, but I was kind of on a fast track. So,
Okay.
um, because my mother is from Colombia, through getting Colombian citizenship, it was a faster way to get Spanish citizenship. So that's what I did.
You're so lucky. I
Yeah.
love that. Because I actually went abroad the same time as you, like
Yeah,
honestly, 1 year after.
that
So
is crazy. And you were in Barcelona?
I first went to Bilbao,
Oh, okay.
País Vasco, and I was studying abroad. I was doing like international marketing, went back to the US and I was like, what is this corporate life? Like, I don't want to do this,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
once you experience that Spanish lifestyle, I was like, I need to get back.
Well,
So,
you will. You're coming back. You're coming
oh,
back.
that was only 6 months. And then we moved, and then I left and I went to Barcelona for 5 years. So, and that
Oh,
was
then
the second time I went was in 2017. Because you went, tell me again the year.
yeah, many times, but this last stint I came in 2015. So that's when I
Got it.
made my move this time. And so it stuck this time, many times back and forth, but finally I made it work.
Cool. Well, welcome to everybody who's trickling in. Love to see you guys early. Yesterday, we also had a lot of early birds. It was awesome. We even had early birds at like 7:40.
Wow. Wow. People getting up early for this. That's amazing.
I know, it's awesome. Cool. So tell me about your day. What is a typical day on a
Oh,
Sunday? And just so everybody knows, Cepee is awesome. I'm not going to do your introduction yet because
okay.
we're still waiting for people to come in. But she's in Malaga, if you can't tell. That's the Mediterranean Sea in the background. Tell us what like a typical day like looks like for you on a Sunday. I'm curious.
Right. Sundays. So I'm assuming a lot of the audience is in the US, I guess so. So
Let us
Sundays.
know where you're from in the
Yeah, let
chat.
us know where you're from. I mean, I'm originally from Houston, Texas, but yeah, I'm in southern Spain now. So Sundays in Spain, in most regions in Spain, Sundays is a day where things are really slow because everything's closed. Like I can't go grocery shopping, can't go to the mall. Not that I usually do that, but just like this is a day to spend time with friends and family. When the weather's like this, a lot of people are, on the terraces, having a good meal, some drinks. For me, it's a day where I just kind of wake up without a plan because I work a lot. So Sundays is just a day to chill. And then also, because my partner is Spanish, typically in Spain, you have lunch with your family. So on Sundays, we usually go over to his parents' house and have lunch there with his sister and her kids. So I do like the typical Spanish life thing also.
Awesome. I freaking love that. And it's so true. Has anybody been to Spain? Please tell us in the chat.
Yeah,
Where
let us know in the chat.
where have you been?
Love it. I'm also looking, we have Sibyl who's in Switzerland. Amazing. Barbara in Minnesota. I love it. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yes. Hold on, I'm just trying to do one thing. I have a giveaway at the very end. So I have this like wheel of names website. So I'm going to share my screen at the very end of the summit and
How
paste everybody's
fun.
names that went in there. They get to win like travel prizes and um, entry to my Move Overseas club. And yeah, a bunch of cool stuff.
Love it. I'm loving this summit. You guys are so lucky that Shauna has put on something like this. This is what I wish I would have had when I was trying to navigate my own move abroad. So well done, Shauna, for, sharing these resources and bringing all of us together to help everyone out there who wants to make this happen.
I love that. Thank you. And tell us like more about just tell us about Spain and your life. I'm so curious.
Yes, I'm also looking at the chat. I see someone lived in Torremolinos for 7 years, Karen. That's really close to where I am.
Yeah.
Um, yes, I'm a European citizen. Love it. My goal is the UK, Netherlands, or Germany. Never been to Spain. Spain is amazing. Everybody loves it that comes here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and we have people from Montreal. Yeah, so for me,
Montreal,
I've been here.
Ontario. Yeah.
Montreal, Ontario. We have Canada in the house. Hello. I've been here 8 years now in Spain, and I think my life style has changed quite a bit from when I first came. I was teaching English, and so that was a much different lifestyle than now working for myself. I mean, when I first came, I only worked like 15, 20 hours a week. So I had a
Wow.
lot of free time, and I was living it up I lived in Madrid at the time. So
Oh, hell
uh,
yeah. Nice.
yeah, that's a
What do you
fun city with.
like best?
Mhm.
Which city do you like best out of all the cities that you've lived
Right.
in Spain?
Madrid. Madrid has my heart. I'm a city girl. I mean, I live now by the water, but it'll always be Madrid for me. I love a big city. Who out there likes a big city? Are you guys city people or sea people? Let me know. Sean is
I'm
like
kind of
me.
like torn because so Barcelona is definitely my place. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Love
Well,
it.
it's a perfect
Love it to
place.
death.
Beautiful.
It's Madrid, big city, Barcelona, big city, but I love the sea. I love when you can be at the
Yeah.
top of Barcelona and be in like the work district where that's where I used to work and just like see the sea in the background
Oh,
from the top, from the mountain. It's just, I love that combination of mountain and sea.
yes, that is beautiful. We have that here too. You can't see it now, but kind of like to the right of me where there's the mountain. So it's nice to have that. But I mean, in Barcelona, yeah, it's bigger than Malaga. So it is a good city. I like a little bit of grittiness of a city and like the nightlife and the options of a city. So I feel like I lack that a little bit here. But
Okay.
there's no perfect place in the world.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's no perfect place. And how does somebody like find their perfect place? I mean, is that even
Yeah, good question. I think it's a lot of having a lot of Goldilocks moments. I think that's how it happened to me. Just
yeah.
like trying out different places, and some are a little like not so much, yes, so much, and then some is like this is it. And I had that with Spain and really with Madrid. I just felt like that was my place in the world. I don't know if anybody else has felt that. You've just been somewhere and you're like, this is where I belong. That's what I got here.
Yeah, and somebody says, like, what about watching El Clásico? Have you ever seen El Clásico? If nobody
Yes,
knows what El Clásico, it's the Barca, FC Barcelona football soccer team against the Madrid soccer team. It's that
exactly.
competition game. Have you been to that?
The rivalry. I haven't been to a live game of the Clásico. I've been to live games to see Real Madrid.
Mhm.
And of course, when World Cup happens, watching those games here, but I haven't been live to a Clásico. So that has to be incredible. Definitely have been walking around when the games are going on at the bars and people losing their minds, which is
Oh,
so
yeah.
much fun to watch.
So much fun. And hello to everybody that's trickling in. We have one more email reminder that's coming out in 1 minute. And that's typically when the rest of everybody jumps on. So before we jump in, we're just going to wait like 2 minutes until we have the full group. But yeah, CP is so awesome. And it was so bad. I was not pronouncing your name right like a couple weeks ago. And I apologize for that. But
It's okay.
I have it now, right? It's CP.
No,
Peppy.
you got it. Cepee. Cepee rhymes with Peppy.
Cepee rhymes with Peppy. I love that. Does anybody
Yes.
else have like that little phrase to help people remember your name?
Right. Yeah, I get it. If you haven't heard my name before, I see like if you read it, you can read it that way. So I have like also, I don't know if you can see in my Zoom name, I have it
I
written
like
phonetically.
that. And you also put it, okay, like Sepey. Okay. That will help, that will help people remember. And I see, okay, as you guys are coming in, tell us where you're from, what's the country that you want to go to? Like, what do you have in mind?
Yeah, let us know. And I'm
Or
gonna
Europe?
move over a little bit. It's so hot
Yeah.
now.
So now a lot more people are trickling in.
Let's move this over.
We accept everybody from the waiting room. But yeah, like tell us where you're from. Have you ever gone abroad? Have you guys ever lived abroad? And where is it that you want to go? And do you have a timeline? So is it
Yeah,
like
when are you
6
looking to
months,
go?
a year? I mean, I don't know about you, Seppi, but I've done moves in like 6 months or less. Like
Yeah, it's totally doable.
Yeah,
I typically tell people you need a runway of 6 to 12 months and you can make it happen. So,
exactly.
um, sorry, I'm like moving around here,
It's
just
okay.
trying to
And
get
I see
ready to go
Brenda,
to my house.
as you guys are coming in, please tell us where you're from, where you want to go abroad. What's your timeline? We have Brenna here. She says, hey, everyone, currently in LA. Holla, Brenna, I'm in LA right now, but starting to search to move overseas. Options are down to Portugal, UK, or Netherlands by summer
Amazing.
2024. I was literally about to say summer 2014. What year are we in? I can't even believe we're 2023.
2023.
Brenna, just to let you know, we're having a chat later specifically about Portugal. So there's a lawyer that's coming in that I'm partnered with, and we're going to be chatting about the Portuguese visa options. So you're definitely going to want to hang around for that. That's in a couple hours. Sandra from Chicago wants to relocate to Spain. Well, guys, welcome to the summit. Let's get started. We have more people trickling in. So as Cepee is sharing with us, I will be letting other people in. But I would love to give you a proper introduction, Cepee. And this chat is going to be super awesome for those of you that really want to go to Europe, and for those of you that really want to go to Spain, because we are Spain obsessed, Cepee and I. And that's what's so interesting. And we have so many similarities because she's from Texas, she's from Houston, and I used to actually live in Beaumont, and we used to go to Houston all the time. So I've done that whole, working in Texas life. And we both kind of have similar stories, except for Cepee, when she moved abroad, she went at 35. She had her entire life established and literally just changed it like this. So she sold all her belongings, she moved to Europe, and since then she's never looked back. And now she has a global community that's called She Hit Refresh, and she's helped 10,000 women that are aged 30 and up move abroad. And I'm sure it's not just like women that on your path you help, but I'm sure this chat is not obviously just for women, it's for everybody, but this is your niche and she's an expert at it. And then also she's been featured in Forbes by her I'm Outta Here, an American's Ultimate Visa Guide to Living in Europe, which is super awesome. Congrats about that. And I hope I didn't butcher your intro. I hope that was good. And
That was amazing.
awesome. Well, please tell me a little bit more, like if you want to add to the intro, let people know what you're up to, kind of a little background on you. That would be awesome.
Yes, and hello to everyone chiming in. I'm looking in the chat. I see people who are in my She Hit Refresh Facebook group here. Thanks for being here. People from Texas and just all kinds of amazing people here. So thanks for joining us. Yes, like Shauna said, my name is Cepee. Rhymes with Peppy is what I say. I'm located in Malaga, Spain, for anyone who has just tuned in, but originally from Houston. And like Shauna says, yeah, I help women over 30 move abroad. And it just all kind of came about because when I made my move at 35, there just really weren't a lot of resources for someone, I would say, of my age. And I say that because when I was, looking at moving abroad, there were a lot of resources for gap years and people in college, so in the early 20s, and then resources for people like 16 above who wanted to retire. But there was nothing for people kind of in between that had an established life, that had responsibilities, and wanted to make a radical change. And so that's kind of where this idea came about. I just saw a gap there and wanted to help women. But as Shauna said too, I mean, women is my target audience, but I have so many resources that men utilize too. So the men out there, I don't want you to feel shunned. I'm helping you also. And it's just incredible, to work with people who want to make a change later in life. Because I think a lot of times people feel like I'm too old, it's too late. And I want to tell you, it's never too late and you're never too old to hit refresh.
Oh, hell yeah. And I love your brand name, She Hit Refresh. Tell me, like, how does somebody hit refresh if they have an established life? And if you guys are comfortable, feel free, share with us your age, because this is an open space. This is transparency. We're all here to help. We want to get you moving forward. Tell us where you're at. Like, how old are you? If age is an issue, if you're in the back of your mind, like that's something that's holding you back. And it's kind of like that negative self-talk. But Cepee, tell us, like, how does somebody that's over 35 do this? Like what has to happen? Like, I mean, even mindset, just what really has to happen in order for you to do this?
Great question. Yeah. So I did it at 35 and I just turned 43 last week. So like I always talk about my age. So let's
Nice.
put it out there.
Put it
Well, I
out.
think one thing is like getting over that limiting belief that it's too late. A lot of people feel like, oh, I should have done this when I was younger. I can't do it now. Um, there's a fear of, leaving your comfort zone, which I get. If you have a good job, you've established yourself, you have a home, you have a mortgage, those kind of things. But those are all things that you can work through. And I want to remind people on this age thing, at 35, when I was thinking of doing this, I didn't feel like I was too old, but I did feel like it was a little too late. I felt like, again, like I should have done this earlier. And now at 43, when I think back at 35, I'm like, I was so freaking young. Like, what was I thinking? And in a few years, I'm going to look at 43 and be like, oh my God, I was so young. I can't believe I let my mindset of thinking I was too old to hold me back. So definitely number one is getting through that mindset that you're not too old, because you know what? There are thousands of people doing what you want to do. So I think
Oh yeah.
sometimes, right? When I think,
Yeah.
it can feel like your idea is a little bit crazy or wild or out there when everyone around you is living a more conventional life. But I
Exactly.
think what really can help you is to find a community of people who are like-minded, who want to do what you want to do. So for me, I have She Hit Refresh for women over 30, but there's plenty of communities out there for people who want to make changes at all ages in life.
Awesome. And I've shared your info right here. If you guys want to check out She Hit Refresh. And people are already commenting, like when we asked, like, what's your age? And cheers to you who's being bold and sharing. Grace, 31, Rebecca, 31, Cheryl, 55. She said, my kids are finally moving out. I'm free to go live my dream finally. Woo! Love that, Cheryl. That's awesome. And then 50, moving my 16-year-old daughter and 75-year-old mom, from Christina. Lorenzo's 46, Cybelle is 59, and wondering, I wonder how we can change the wonder to doing. So yeah, that's actually a good question for Cybelle specifically. How do you change the wonder to doing? Like
yeah,
action?
that I think is the hard part. I think so many people get stuck in the cycle of information, research, staying up at night, Googling, and it makes them feel like you're making progress, but then 2, 5, 10 years go by and you still haven't done the thing. So
Right.
really, that shift from wondering to doing is just taking action. And that means, doing it can be the little things. It doesn't have to be the big things of like, hopping on a plane, but the little things of, figuring out what kind of visa you need, because, we can talk about that more later. But the two things that are going to hold you back from moving abroad are visas. You got to make sure you can get a visa to live in the country you want to, and
Mhm.
money. Like, how are you going to support yourself? So you just need to start figuring out, solving problems. And little by little, once you have those solutions, then you can make the leap, without any problem.
So can you tell us a little bit about like where you're at? Like, why did you at 35 decide to choose Spain? And like, how
Yes.
was that search? And I'm so happy that you brought up this whole, I like to call it like the research paralysis. It's like everybody gets so excited, they're Googling, they're doing research, but like, and then this is, I don't know if you agree with this stat, but like 10% of the people that say they want to move abroad actually go do it. Would you say that that's kind of accurate?
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I don't know what the stats are, but definitely I hear so many more people talk about it than actually do it. So yeah,
Right. So like
probably.
how do people get out of that research phase? Because that's something that literally paralyzes everyone. They get themselves excited and then they're just like stuck. Is community the answer? Is having somebody help you push you forward? Like what do you advise for those people?
Yes, those are great suggestions. So yes, number one, community. I would say again, surround yourself with people who want to do the thing you want to do or have done it, because they're going to be your North Star, your guiding light. They're going to be your hope that, hey, they have done it, so I can do it too. So I think it's really important to surround yourself with people like that. Also, there's so much information in these communities, and that's what you need to start making to help you make the right decision for you, right? I mean, I know everyone wants to move to Portugal, but maybe Portugal isn't the best place for you. So you do have to do your research to some extent to
Okay.
understand, where you want to go and how to do that. But then you have to start making, taking action and making decisions. So, and it
Yeah.
really depends also, what kind of person you are. Like I'm someone who starts before I'm ready, who just makes decisions and then pivots. So someone like me, I didn't need someone to help me move abroad. But there's people out there who really need someone to hold them accountable or just to make them feel like they're making the right choices. So there's nothing wrong without, getting a coach or someone who can help you that you feel comfortable with, because they will hold you accountable and help you understand each part of the process and make sure that you follow through on that.
I totally agree. And tell us, like, because I know for those of you that just came in with She Hit Refresh, and Cepee's in Malaga, Spain. So if anybody's been to Malaga, let us know in the chat. That's actually where my husband's from, which is
Oh my
funny.
gosh, so
So
funny.
actually from Torremolinos. And I think somebody else
Wow.
put in the chat that they're from Torremolinos. But kind of going and piggybacking off of what you said, like the accountability, having support, having people that have actually done this. Like, how have you helped the 10,000 women, and what are the kind of things that you do to help people?
Yeah, great question. I love it. Someone said they might go to Malaga in October. Yeah, so I have the online community, which I think that just starts with helping people, one, get inspired, one, not feel alone. They have their dreams validated, like what they want to do isn't crazy. And three, they're finding the resources in there. But for anyone who kind of wants to like kick it into high gear, then there's other ways that I help them. And there's, I saw you shared my visa guide. Thank you so much. As
Yeah,
I mentioned earlier, visa is going to be a big obstacle for people. Not because there's not a visa out there for you, but because a lot of people just don't know how many visas there are out there that you might actually qualify for. I think
right,
people assume it's too hard to move to Europe. You have to be rich. You have to marry a foreigner. You have to teach English. You have to get transferred with a job.
right.
And so information will help you understand, like, no, there's actually so many ways to do it. So, I help them, with the visa book, but also I have an online boot camp that really lets you see how possible it is for you and lays out like what you need to figure out to make it happen. And then I also have a longer course, a 6-week course that I'm going through right now with my clients that takes them through each step of the move abroad process from start to finish, just
Nice.
so, I hold you accountable and we get you through the whole process so that you can get on a plane with a one-way ticket to your dream destination.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I hope people can take advantage of that. I've just put in the chat, like, her Move Abroad new boot camp is,
Thank
um,
you.
that's from your website, right? To join the wait list.
Yeah, here, I'll drop the link
If you could
there.
put the
Let's
link
see.
there, because I don't think you sent me the actual link for the wait list, but
Yeah,
I put her Europe book. So just gobble up all of these resources, especially for those of you who are just jumping into this, but also like just need that extra push. We're here for you guys. I've obviously put her email as well. So if you guys have any questions, I'm sure Cepee, you're probably really busy, but I'm sure if somebody sent an email and needed some help, like, you would take care of.
yes.
Yeah.
Reach out to me. That's what I'm here for, a resource to help you. So definitely
Exactly. We
reach
can't
out.
do it alone, guys. And that's why I love this summit. It's like we're making connections. We're here for you. We're offering our support. So take advantage of it. And then I want to ask you more about Spain. Like,
Yeah.
how easy is it to move to Spain right now? And does somebody have to have a business? Um, what's your advice in terms of that? I know you're not a lawyer, so you can't give like complete legal advice, but just
Yeah.
whatever you suggest for that.
Yeah. Well, Spain and Portugal are like the two hot spots of Europe, and it's no coincidence that they are. Well, one, people love warm weather, right? A lot of people want to move somewhere warm, but two is because they probably have the most visas that are viable for the most people. So there definitely is an in to Spain if this is where you want to come. Now, which in, it depends really on your situation. So that's where you have to understand, what visas are out there, and I'll let you know kind of the top ones that people come on. Most people are coming on something called a non-lucrative visa, which is kind of like a retirement visa. But you don't have to be retired to be on it. I actually was on this visa up until very recently. And that's a visa where you have to prove that you can financially support yourself while you live here, because you're not allowed to work in Spain on this visa. So that's an option for people who want to come. And then there's the new digital nomad visa that someone just mentioned. And that is so new that the information is changing daily and it's very fluid right now. So I would definitely give that a little time
Right.
before you apply to that, because there's just a few obstacles going on with that right now,
Yes.
that makes it a little bit challenging for remote workers.
That's what my law contact in Spain 2 days ago was talking to me about, that it's
Okay.
still kind of not completely like ready for Americans to apply for yet.
Yeah, that one. I'm in a great group. I can't think of it right now. Facebook group that's all about that, and every day it's like everything's changing. So
Yeah.
just sit
Well,
tight on that one.
Istvan, if you're subscribed to like my newsletter or her newsletter, we can provide, I don't know if you provide updates, but I'm going to be starting to share a lot more about like some updates because I have like law chats with my friend in Barcelona who's a lawyer. And so if you just stay kind of like in our newsletter, you might see updates, or you can even schedule a call with Cepee, and she might be able to help you too. Okay, what are some other questions we have here? Well, what are like the main struggles to like you moving abroad? Like this, so people want to go right now, 6 months from now. Like, what are they going to encounter? Let's like not, because we know you said the visa process is the most difficult part and the financial. But is there any other obstacles that people are going to encounter? And do you have any tips for like moving through that?
Yeah, I mean, I think just those fears. So I do want to talk about that again. There's the fear of failure and fear of the unknown. And just a reminder, like those are just parts of life, right? So whenever you're going to step into something different, when you're trying to make a big change, like that's just going to come with it. So just remind yourself, like, it's okay to be afraid, and just feel the fear and do it anyways. That's what I did. I mean, I was scared. I didn't know that if it was going to work out or what was going to happen.
Right.
And I like to remind people too, you can always go back to your old life. So let's say you move abroad, you do it. It's not what you thought it was, or you did it and you're like, you know what? I want to go back. You can totally do that too. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind.
I love that. I love that, like coming into it with a different perspective of like, this isn't it, nothing is permanent. And I think as humans, we always think like, oh gosh, this is going to be forever, or, you can change things at any time. And so kind of going in with it with that mindset might help too. And I totally resonate with what you're saying. So tell us, how is it being an American in Spain? We had a lot of questions yesterday, and I, just surveying and seeing what was coming up for people. A lot of people are really nervous about, okay, how moving to Portugal, moving to Spain, or moving to Panama, wherever the place. I don't speak the language. How am I going to do this? Like, if you can touch on that, and then also how it is in general being an American in Spain.
Yeah, well, I think let's talk about, and I saw someone said the boot camp link doesn't work, you're getting an error. So I'll send a new one there. Thank you for letting me know. So being American in Spain, I love it. I mean, there's a lot of Americans here, especially in the past few years. So you definitely are not going to be an only, which sometimes people want that to be the case, but there's a lot of us here. And I think Spain is a country that's very open to tourism. So having foreigners here is nothing out of the ordinary. So people, I think, are very welcoming, very patient, especially when it comes to the language. I think Spain is one of the most patient countries I've been to, with people trying to learn the language. So I wouldn't let language hold you back. I do hear people saying, I don't speak Spanish or Portuguese, so I don't think I can move there. As I always say, like, learn a little bit before you move somewhere, but you don't need to be fluent. You can definitely get by, and then make an effort once you move to learn the language. But language shouldn't be a blocker to making your dream come true. Not at all.
Is it okay? Is it easy to communicate with people? I mean, did you know Spanish before you went there?
I knew a little bit, but nothing fluent. I could, say what my name is, how much does that cost? So I definitely learned here, and I think it's pretty easy to learn here, depending on what circles you get established in when you first get here. Like I said, there's a lot of Americans, a lot of foreigners. So if your friends are English speakers, it's going to take you a little bit longer. But if you can get into the Spanish scene, you're going to learn Spanish so quickly. And of course, the best way to do that is to find a partner. So if any of you single people are coming over, that is the number one way to learn a language.
It really is. And that's what, I mean, is that what happened to you?
It did when I first moved here. So that helped me go from like very basic to pretty good.
What's funny is my very first boyfriend, when I moved to Spain, to Bilbao, which is north of Spain in País Vasco, the Basque country, they partnered us. I joined this exchange program where they partner you with a Spanish speaking buddy, and that person ended up being my boyfriend.
Oh
So,
my
hey,
gosh.
there's ways to do this, guys.
What a cute story.
Yeah, no, that was funny. Okay, so tell us, like, we want to kind of know, what does your life look like on the day to day? I mean, we know you're an American in Spain. what are you doing every day? And like, I
Yes.
want to kind of know the comparison between a life in Houston, and we can talk work, personal, you know,
Yeah.
disconnecting and doing some stuff around the town. Like what does it look like?
Yeah. So I've had different phases since I've lived here. I've been here almost 8 years. In Madrid, it was, in the beginning, as I mentioned, I taught English a lot. And so in my free time, I was, living in a new country and I really wanted to experience it all. So I really just kind of like not went wild, but I was living a much more vibrant social lifestyle than I was in Austin, Texas at 35. And so that was what I was seeking. I really just wanted to feel alive, and the move really gave me that. But as I changed my work in Spain, I went from teaching English to actually getting a work visa sponsorship and working a 9 to 5, ball and chain in Spain, what I didn't want to do. And I would say I had a pretty similar lifestyle to back in the US, right? Because you're living somewhat responsibly. And then now I work remotely and I work for myself. So I have so much more flexibility. And now my days to days, I have my set work hours, but travel is just a big part of my lifestyle now because I can take my work with me. So I spend probably 2, 3 months out of the year in the US. I go stay with family, travel, see friends. And then I try to spend 2 or 3 months of the year, breaking it up and traveling around Europe or wherever I feel like going. And it's just an incredible lifestyle to have that autonomy, right? And just have that ownership over my life and my time and how I spend it and where I spend it. It was really just been a game changer. So different from how I lived in Texas.
I love that. Cool. Thank you so much for sharing. And there's a lot of people in here who resonates, first of all, with anything that Cepee's saying. And if this is helping you, please put me in the chat. We're so grateful to have you. I know it's Sunday and we are taking up your time, but we're so happy that you're here. But a lot of people also want to start a business. So who here like has a business or wants to start a business or needs a remote job? Can you kind of share with us like how, I know you started that business and you're now operating this. How is that possible for other people?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to say it's the long game. Play the long game, right? This is something that I've been working on for 5 years, and it's just within the last probably 6 months that I've really just done my own thing. I was working as a freelancer, working as an employee for someone else, while I was building the business. So I really encourage people to build your side hustle, but don't give up your day job. One, it gives you that security that you need until you can see that your own business has its own feet. And also the money you get from working for someone else, that's money you can pour into your business, right? Like I don't have that luxury anymore. I have to find ways to pay for all the things that I want to do with my business. But even taking it a step back, if you want to start your own business, you need to have an idea that you need to have something that sells, right? You need to find a niche or a gap in the market, like I was able to with She Hit Refresh, which didn't even start as a business idea. So maybe you just like delve into your hobby and then find out I love this so much and it's resonating with people. What can I do to help make an impact and also make a living at the same time? So you really need to identify what is something that people want.
Right.
And then little by little, try it out, test it, throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. It's a lot of trial and error when starting your own business.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. And can you share with us, did you domicile your business in Spain? And is that, if you're okay with sharing, and if you are okay with sharing, like, is it a hard process?
Yes, this is a great question. So I did not. So my business is located in the US, and I was afraid to do it in Spain because it's so complicated from what I hear. Also, I love Spain, and I'm a citizen now, but maybe I want to leave one day. And Spain is not actually doesn't have great benefits for business owners or entrepreneurs. So I don't really want to have my business tied to a country where, there just isn't really. It's just not a great place, I think, to start a business. So I would encourage people to start their business somewhere else.
That's what I also encourage, is to like have and I do the same thing, by the way, Cepee. I have my web design agency. The residency I use is here in the US, and I just live in Spain most of the time. So there's lots of ways, you guys don't have to do it like, if you're living in a place, you don't have to have your business domiciled there. Yesterday, Avi, he had his in Dubai. Other people choose to do it in Andorra. I mean, there's lots of ways around it. Cool. Well, as we're like wrapping up a couple of these last questions, I'd love to open it up. If anybody wants to raise their Zoom hand and ask a question, I will ask you to come off mute. And then if you are a little shy, just feel free to put it in the chat. That also works. I think we did have a couple questions though here.
Yeah.
When you go back and forth, do you have a permanent residence in Spain? And that would be interesting to know, like, when you go for 2 or 3 months, are you like Airbnb-ing your place, or how do you kind of deal with that?
I love this question. So, yeah, so I have my own place here. Actually, is my partner's place, but if I was on my own, I would have bought my own place here. And so we do house swapping. So we started doing that last year. Highly recommend it. I mean, we were in San Francisco for a month in September, which I could not probably afford paying rent in San Francisco in the middle of the city for a month. But with house swapping, it's totally feasible. We just have, a couple in New York City, in Chelsea, with a 2-bedroom that want to swap with us. So I think we're going to take them up on that. So house swapping has really changed the game for us.
I love that. Can you put the link to, is it just houseswapping.com?
I'll give you the link. It's on Home Exchange, so I can share the link there because that's
I know
what I
there's
use.
a couple different companies, right, that do it.
Yeah, there's a ton out there. I've had a great experience with Home Exchange, but there's other ones out there as well.
Okay. So somebody's asking, they say, how do you raise your hand in Zoom? It's okay. I mean, if you have a question, like Barbara, let me see if I can unmute you in a second. So starting a business in the US is much easier than Spain and anywhere else in Europe. Interesting. Do either of you ladies own property? Asks Donna.
Yes, so I can answer. I have property in the US. So that is something, let me know specifically, what I can answer about that, but I have property in the US. I don't stay there when I go because it's rented out, but I wanted to hold on to that when I moved. It's just an asset that I wanted to keep. So I would actually recommend to people to hold on to your home, at least initially when you move. Feel it out, see if you're going to stay somewhere long term. That's if you are thinking about selling, first feel it out abroad before you make any big decisions like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Barbara has a question. I took you, I think, Barbara, you're off of mute. Go ahead and welcome and go ahead and ask your question. Are you there, Barbara? Okay, maybe her mic isn't working. Let's go to somebody else. Let's see. Anybody else have any questions? Do you see anything in here?
Oh, I see. Donna asked about property in Spain. So yes, so I don't have property, but my partner does. So let us know, what your question is about property in Spain. It is less expensive than the US, but I mean, people are coming here, so you're not going to find any crazy deals, but you will get more bang for your buck over here for sure.
And definitely. And what are we talking in terms of like property prices in Malaga, which, if you guys don't know where Malaga is, it's the very south of Spain. It's called the Costa del Sol, and it's a really popular place for like expats. Lots of international people move there because the weather is just so awesome. Can you kind of shed light just really quickly as we wrap this up to like what that looks like in terms of like prices? What can people be expecting to pay for, 2-bedroom apartment, like where you're at?
Yeah, so I just had a American friend, who bought a 2-bedroom apartment that is about 700 square feet, 3 blocks from the beach. And she paid, I think, 160,000 euros for that, which is pretty good. Prices are going up though. It's 700 square feet, so it's not big. If you're looking for something big, 3-bedroom, sea views, you're probably looking at 450,000 to 500,000. And there is everything in between. A lot of it depends on proximity to the sea. That the prices are driven by that, right? So
now where you're at, I saw that there was like the sea was in the background. How far are you from the beach? Can you walk there?
Yeah, it's an 8-minute walk behind me. So it's very, very close. So it's great to have the sea views, but be close enough to walk right down there.
That's awesome. Does anybody have any last minute questions as we wrap up our interview? And let me ask you actually one thing. What's your final words of wisdom for people on the fence or overwhelmed? Like, what last secret would you want to tell them so they can make their move in under 12 months?
Yeah, one, I would just say you can totally do this. And if you don't know how to navigate it alone, find a community out there or find someone who can help you navigate it, because a move abroad is totally possible and within reach for you. You just got to figure out some key things. And once you do that, you'll be well on your way.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We're so happy to have you. And we have one other question. Jose Rodriguez asked me, how is the real estate in Estepona, which is like 30, 45 minutes from Malaga?
Yeah, I don't know exactly. I mean, it's not as crazy, I think, as like Malaga or Benalmádena, some other popular towns, but Estepona is a pretty popular place. So I wouldn't be surprised the prices there are higher than what we expect them to be, but definitely check it out. It's so
Yeah.
cute. I love Estepona.
Idealista, guys, is a good resource.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
put it in the chat for looking for property. And then Tara, if you can wrap it up in 1 minute, be very concise with your question, and then wrap it up in 1 minute.
You mentioned people can get a non-lucrative visa to go there. Obviously, in the interim, while the digital nomad visa is being sorted out. But can you, even if you are working digitally and that business is elsewhere, can you actually work in Spain for, say, longer than 3 months? I was told that if you're working longer than 3 months, that the Spanish government will expect you to pay taxes, even if you are working for a business that's abroad, like not based in their country. Do you know anything about that? And I know that's probably the worst question to end on because that's quite a long answer.
No, I'll give you great question, Tara. So real quickly, so I don't know about the 3 months, but I do know if you're in Spain for over 183 days, you are considered a tax resident. So like I have to still file taxes here in Spain as well as the US. If you're here for longer than 3 months, but less than 6 months, you're not considered a tax resident. So you'd have to talk to a lawyer, but I don't think you'd have to pay taxes on your earnings since you're not considered a tax resident.
Okay,
awesome.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you. And Tara, if you need a lawyer contact in Spain, just email me. And I can put you in contact with somebody that can help you.
Great. Cheers. Thank you.
Cool. Well, I want to bring up Sophia. Hold on really quick. And I also want you guys to meet. Hold on really quick here. Let me add you. Hey, Sophia, I wanted to introduce you to Cepee. And Cepee's here in Spain. And I know you're in Portugal right now, but normally live in the UK. And Sophia's with Live and Invest Overseas. And you guys are both amazing, awesome women. And I wanted to put you guys in contact together.
Hi, Cepee. Really nice to meet you and really interesting stuff. I've been listening for the past few minutes. Jealous you're in Spain. I'm actually back in London now, and it's a bit grim over here weather-wise. It looks very sunny where you are.
Oh, so lovely to meet you, Sophia. This is great. I love this, meeting other incredible women. Yeah, it is warm over here. You look like you got your turtleneck on. So we're living in different realities at the moment.
I know.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys can connect offline. And thank you so much for coming on. Can everybody please give a big thank you to Cepee, and we will definitely talk to you soon.